Welcome back everyone to game number 2 here in the D2CL Chinese playoffs between EHOME and VG. Game number 1, very one-sided. VG just completely stomped that game. EHOME didn't really know where to go or what to do. But let's see in the game number 2 draft if they've got something special in store for us. They kind of do. Queen of Pain and Juggernaut is their first one too, while VG went for the first pick Sniper. Now Scant, Sniper on Super. What do you think about this?
Sniper on Super, well, Super was the guy who actually made Sniper huge in the current Dota 2 metagame. He was the first one playing it a lot at DAC, I think. I think Cloud9 did it a bit. It was basically those two teams. But also recently we've seen Super sort of quietly sitting at the back when he's playing Sniper and his whole team dominating. We talk about all of them. We cast a game recently like that where we ended up hardly ever discussing Super, despite the fact that he was the one doing most of the damage all the time. Just like quietly sitting back and poking at people with his little rifle.
Yeah.
So I think he plays the hero really well. And I think it's a good first pick for VG Gaming. I also like the axe pick, especially if you consider how well Ice did last game. I wanted to say that last game, a lot of it had to do with the draft. The fact that ROTK drafted that early Faceless Void with the troll. So FY knew he's running an offlane Void. And then you pick the safe lane Queen of Pain. It frees you up to have roaming supports, and the other team can't have as active supports on the map.
Well, they most certainly couldn't. Now, EHOME, I really like that Treant ban. The amount of times we see not just VG Gaming themselves do it, but other teams pick up a Treant to combo with a Sniper. You know, you try and dive him with a Queen of Pain, you send supports mid to try and gank him. He's a low HP pool hero. But with a Treant living armor just thrown out there, it's still difficult to kill. So that ban is really sensible there from EHOME. Their fourth ban, a little more difficult. You know, you can look at banning a Vengeful Spirit, Rubik, and another support, because that's what VG are going to be looking for. But the Sniper and Axe so far, pretty strong laning combination. Well, pretty strong combination laning-wise on their own, but also mid-game, the amount of damage they do.
I wonder if EHOME considered doing the same thing that VG Gaming did last game, where they ran the safe lane Queen of Pain against a melee offlaner like the Axe. It would mean that the Juggernaut needs to find a home, maybe an aggressive dual, aggressive tri-lane. But it's a consideration. The other reason I think it's a consideration is because ZYF has played so much Queen of Pain recently. And of course, if it's mid, it's probably going to be in flame and ZYF on that Juggernaut. And that's also something that they could do. But I guess it's right in your mind after you just lost in large part, I think, due to the draft and the way the lanes matched up. The other part of that game was just that rotation from Ice, which I thought was so ridiculous, with a off-lane Axe running through the enemy jungle, getting to mid lane, and then managing to walk into two people and call them both.
Are EHOME going to replicate the draft that they had played against them last game? Are they going to go for Shadow Demon Lina?
It looks like they might. I mean, Lina's really good against Sniper. Lina's really good with Shadow Demon. And like I said, if they decide to run the Quap in the safe lane, they've got a lot of room for the supports to roam. Just like VG Gaming had in the previous game. And
let's see.
if White drafts the Rubik, I wonder if that's partially expecting this combo and wanting to be able to react to it.
Yeah. I feel it. It's not only that, but it's one of the few supports left out there. You know, Witch Doctor Revenge have been banned out. There's no Treant. What else could you be looking for? Rubik is a good all-round solid hero, and of course, VG Gaming love playing it. EHOME, now considering whether they want to go for this. There's always the Leshrac out there as well, which you can put up with the Shadow Demon and move around like that. Maybe you don't want to give the Lina away. Maybe you don't want to, pick up the Lina with the SD, just because, you know, there's Rubik, Sniper. It's a little bit difficult to go in there and deal out your damage, but I don't know. It seems ballsy.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, either way, EHOME's already got the Shadow Demon Quap combo, the one that we didn't speak about lots in last draft and ended up being quite significant with just the amplified damage and the nukes. And Shadow Demon is always going to be good against Axe. You disrupt him, you get some Axe images. If you right click with him fast, the creeps might attack them, they might spin a bit. A little bit extra damage there. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but definitely ROTK hasn't given away his offlane this game as early as he did last game. And I felt like that maybe was a weakness in his draft, in the previous draft.
It's still always going to be rough, though, because we've talked about Super Sniper, which is more likely than not going mid. You can run Sniper in the safe lane. Give that to How. He does, though, more often play better on a more, aggressive, in-your-face core hero. You jump in there with a blink or something like that, or you can get someone with a lot of movement speed, get into fights and do your damage that way. And I'm actually going with the Shadow Demon Mirana combination, which somehow I forgot. I've been thinking of Lina and Leshrac, seeing these heroes more and more, but of course, SD Mirana.
I didn't forget about it, but I don't think it bodes well for EHOME. I gotta say, I think this is the worst meta game we've ever had for roaming Mirana. No matter if you're combined with a Shadow Demon. I don't which game was it we saw the other day where VG Gaming, where FY actually played the roaming Mirana and got like 7 kills in 5 minutes, and they still lost.
It feels like it was VG against IG or something like that, but I can't quite remember.
Yeah. It was game 2 of VG vs IG, where VG won the first game, and the second game it was that roaming Mirana where IG actually won. I think IG running a drow strategy in that game, and I feel like that's symptomatic of the current meta game. You talk about like comeback mechanics and how the game develops in mid and late game. Support Mirana can make a lot of kills early on, but later on she just seems to do a lot less than basically any other supports being picked in this meta game.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time we have these games where if you make early kills they just end up meaning nothing. The game evens out a bit in the middle, and so what that you made some early kills. So I'm definitely committing to that, make lots of kills early on plan. But I'm not so sure. I think that support Mirana might be one of the weakest things you can do right now. It's risky. You need the game to end at a reasonably early time, because she's not going to do what other supports are going to do later on. Sure, you might say she can move into that Midas and become extra core, but you've usually seen that strategy being unsuccessful. It takes far too long for Mirana to actually transition that way. I mean, as a core, she's already very item dependent, so to be like the slow core. Yeah, so they take the Viper as their last pick, and this makes me think that they will do that aggressive tri-lane maybe.
And then have Viper safe lane solo, yeah? Yeah, I can see that happening, but I agree with you. Mirana, sure, you get a lot of early game power out of her, but it takes her a long time to catch back up. It's not like, an Alchemist or something like that we used to see in that support role, or a Wraith King support, where they suddenly get a few kills and they've got themselves a Midas, they're jumping around, and they are that fourth core hero carrying you through the game. Mirana needs a lot of items, a lot of time, and she doesn't have any abilities that scale, or any abilities really that help her farm. Starstorm maybe a little bit, but apart from that, it's about your Moonlight Shadow, it's all about your arrow. Try and get in there, find kills, and make the early team fights work for you. VG, what do you do against this Viper? Axe is not a good hero against the Viper. You don't really want to put the Axe 1v1 in that offlane against RTK, but what other options do you have? Chen aggressive jungle, then you have Rubik Axe. That doesn't really work either. Viper's still going to win that lane more likely than not. He's definitely not going to die. So do you switch things up and maybe put Axe safe lane? Give Hao the Axe? We were talking about how last game we don't really see that.
I'm really not too sure here, especially because VG Gaming have also picked the Chen, and it's going to be difficult to go into the enemy I suppose if they expect the aggressive tri-lane, they can dodge into the enemy jungle, but either way there's going to be pressure on them, right? So if the Rubik and the Chen are helping the offlaner, then the safe lane is going to be the one struggling against an aggressive tri-lane, if that's what we're expecting. So it's going to be difficult. I think the early game, I think the lane stage, almost no matter what this last pick is, should favor EHOME. And I guess if I was VG Gaming, I'd be thinking, well, all we need to do is not get destroyed in the lane stage, because sort of right after the lane stage, we've got the Chen. We can take a whole lot of objectives. We're going to have an Axe Blink Dagger. We're going to have Sniper. And they're going to have a Mirana that doesn't get anywhere. And picking up that Phantom Lance, at the moment, it looks like it's Hao running it. So I think VG Gaming have mostly picked it for Ice in the past.
Yeah, he's been playing offlane PL. I was just thinking about heroes that they could potentially run. Phantom Lancer didn't really cross my mind. I was looking more for something like a Razor. Where you send Razor into the offlane to 1v1 the Viper. If you need to, you can put the Razor safe lane with the Rubik and still have Axe in the offlane. But with the PL, he's going to be elusive up at top. He's not going to get shut down completely by the aggressive tri-lane. I wonder though, is there a window, if PL gets disrupted, is there a window where he can use Doppelganger to dodge the arrow?
I'm not so sure.
Me neither.
I mean, those interactions are always pretty weird. There's some things that happen that don't seem intuitive, but you know what? PL is a really good hero against Juggernaut. It's a really good hero against Viper, and it's a really good hero against Mirana. I mean, when you have a lot of images, you don't get arrowed. If you have a lot of images, Viper just can't interact with you at all, and Juggernaut's Omni Slash is a lot weaker. So it makes sense to me. I mean, it's the only thing they have to clear the images fast is the Queen of Pain, unless Juggernaut buys Battle Fury or something of the sort. So I like the PL pickup here, and I think that's exactly what I was saying, that if the PL gets good farm, if the Axe gets his key item, Sniper gets a couple items, in that sort of mid-game phase, as we transition out of lanes, VG Gaming might be a lot stronger in those fights. Whereas EHOME looking to take an advantage in the lanes very early on, and yeah, moving us 5 into the enemy jungle to indicate exactly that.
Are they going to place an ward behind the tower? I think that's going to be the best place for an observer ward, just so you can get that Shadow Demon disruption arrow wherever you are. You know, place a deep one just there. You don't need to block the pull camp. You kind of want the enemy to pull through, so then you can get those extra targets down. FY standing a little bit far forward. He's got boots. Lanham does as well, though. What's the movement speed difference? 345 against 340. The Shadow Demon is slightly faster, and oh, he's caught him. He's caught him. The arrow's going to fly. This is going to be fun. Oh, well, no. No way. No way. How do you miss that? FY sure with a sneaky little dodge, but that's nuts. Lanham's going to be the first one to fall as he places the observer down to try and block one of Chen's camps.
Part of it is that the Rubik has boots, which means that that tiny movement he gets after the disruption is bigger than what you expect. But part of it is also that this is a combination that time and time again I've seen pro players get wrong when they're out of practice with it. At TI4, VG Gaming with Fenrir and FY, who are meant to be really good at this combo, there was a game, I don't remember which game, but there was definitely a game where they ran Mirana and Shadow Demon and probably 3 or 4 times in a row got the combo wrong. So it's a bit misleading. It seems like so straightforward and easy, and it is if you're like in the habit of doing it. But I mean, they probably haven't done this combo. Maybe they haven't done it ever. These two players together, certainly not recently. And I have like some amount of sympathy for them. They're gonna try again in the mid lane right now on the sniper.
They've got to get this one. Super disrupted up, arrow flying out. This lands. They get the landing arrow onto Super. RTK is actually the mid Viper, and they will take down Constellation kills. So let's actually have a look at the lanes. In Flame will be the safe lane Queen of Pain up against Ice's Axe. Mid RTK Viper against Super Sniper. Then we've got the roaming duo of D2CL on the Mirana, Lanham playing the Shadow Demon.
Quap is getting destroyed.
What did Ice just call and triple spin or something?
He got a call and a double spin. Sorry to interrupt, but she like walked close to Rast and he managed to call her with the creep wave, and it's gonna give him a really good lane. What should have been probably quite a difficult lane.
Yeah, we see it sometimes with heroes, like Storm Spirit, the lower ranged solo safe laners get a little bit manhandled by the Axe, but never a Queen of Pain. Up at top, How does get caught out. The Blade Fury will secure his death, as FY tries to just throw people around with telekinesis.
The trick to this SD Mirana combo, I think, is that you shouldn't worry about choosing the arrow too soon. You should worry about it choosing it too late. Too late is a problem. Too soon very often hits anyway, because if like the back of the arrow hits you as you come out of disruption, you still get stunned.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. It doesn't have to be the front of the arrow.
You don't have to hit them with the tip. You can hit them with the middle or the back, whatever you want. As long as you don't let the arrow miss, like we saw on the Rubik earlier on. ZYF on the aggressive Juggernaut, basically offlane Jug here, solo against How's Phantom Lancer and FY's Rubik. There's did they try to arrow the Centaur there? I guess they did. They want to try and kill the Centaur. Go on, kill him. And then Fenrir says, yeah, that's not happening actually. I'm just going to take a different creep.
Well, now they're going to try kill Fenrir for his insolence. But there's that creep, scouting them out.
What has Fenrir actually got done though? He's level 2. 2.5 minutes in the game. He's not doing too badly, but he doesn't have many stacks up. Oh, mid lane. RTK trading hits with Super. Not the easiest trade to make, though, as he throws down some shrapnel. The loop around. Lanham will find a disruption here. No doubts about it. Shrapnel might slow him down and do a bit of damage. TP from Chen. Coming in as the arrow lands and ROTK takes the last hit. Oh my god, my tongue getting twisted and tied there. But Chen actually did get the counter kill onto Shadow Demon. Something I didn't really expect.
Meantime, in the bot lane, Ice has actually gone for the maxing Battle Hunger build, which is, it's gonna be a really good build if the Queen of Pain isn't able to, take off the Battle Hunger right away after it's used. But if she is, it's gonna be a really bad build. It's actually gonna backfire a lot. And the first time I saw it, he Battle Hungered her and she immediately right-clicked the creep and lost at it. Okay, the hasted Chen ended up helping the sniper to kill the Viper on the top.
Well, RTK went pretty low on HP after their last engagement, so I guess, they just come back in with another test of faith and finish him off.
Fenrir escapes on 1 hit, and I see he's in smoke, so I'm guessing the tower would have killed him actually, and he used his haste to get out of range and the smoke to dodge the last projectile. That's what it looks like.
Well, Inflame on his bot lane last hit wise, 13 for 4, but Ice, 15 for 3. Almost leading the board there. Just How's extra denies, giving him that slight advantage. Phantom Lancer up on top lane. We're going to see him in the more old school conventional one role rather than the Ice off lane role where you're just juking and jiving, trying to dodge the supports. And I guess it kind of works. You know, we looked at it and thought, okay, well, with the Shadow Demon and Mirana, that's one less target that they can really go for. Oh, DDC, he does have leap. He does have leap, so he should be fine. Disruption goes down to the sniper, but then he's got more shrapnels. Not going to throw them out just yet, as DDC is still being chased down. Ice wants him, and will get him. With a call into spin. Chen now aggressively jungling, I guess. Fenrir called up. Lanham, are you sure about this? The troll trap's going to come out. Inflame is level 5. No Sonic Wave just yet. Trying to get the right clicks down. Takes down the Chen. And Ice. What is this? Mass rotations in from EHOME. RTK on the Viper and Inflame. Looking for more, but VG come out with the victors in that. 2 for 1 overall.
Yeah, and VG will be really happy about this because I feel like it's EHOME that wants to be dominating the early game and the lane phase, and they're getting their kills, but VG Gaming are getting return kills, and actually one extra kill to their name at the moment. I mean, some of it's been under really weird circumstances with a Chen TPing in and finding a haste rune and diving a tower with just right clicks, and okay, mid lane RTK is gonna go down again.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
And RTK, I spoke in the first game about how he's been playing really well on heroes like Phoenix, but a lot of the time recently he's actually had a few weak performances. I mean, last game he really struggled. Maybe not his fault, maybe to do with the lane. Oh,
that shouldn't happen, but we're going to stay up at top because I saw the supports coming in. The arrow will hit onto How and they'll finally take him down. Bot lane. What is this guy doing? Ice finds a solo kill on the Queen of Pain. Like, I saw where the creeps were. I took a quick look at the map and there were like creeps around here. But I don't know. I don't know how it happens.
Well, RTK struggled on Void last game. He's struggling a bit on Viper this game. We saw a weird Tidehunter game the other day where he didn't take Ravage at level 6. But I think the chat likes to blame him a bit more than he deserves. I think a lot has to do with the team in general. Like the first game had to do with the draft in general. And the second game's had a lot to do with the rotations.
Well, rotations like this. Ice comes in to stop the gang. Lanham disrupts and Arrow's going to miss. Ice too quick as Assassinate will flinch him off. Super slowed and right click down by RTK, but he's put himself in a position where he just gets slammed into the ground. The chase continues as How has Lance back off cooldown and DDC has no mana to leap. This is you mentioned that support Mirana is probably one of the worst metas of any time to run a support Mirana. He's running around at level 3 with a TP scroll. His net worth is 290.
Yeah, and this is what will usually happen to him in the mid game. And because of VG Gaming doing so well in the early game, it's happening now already. The support Mirana is just like almost nothing.
Lanham caught out. Arrow's going to land onto Ice, and the right click's coming from Inflame. Good Sonic Wave across 2. He'll finish off Ice, but not before the Shadow Demon falls.
And that involves the Queen of Pain ulti. It involves a bunch of rotations, and the Axe still making a kill before he goes down. And Fenrir looking to gang RTK. Oh, RTK is going to die again.
Oh, the wraparound from the Chen. Here comes the Centaur and Dark Troll. RTK right-clicked and stuck in the shrapnel. Does manage to throw the Viper Strike onto Fenrir. Another trade, but again, EHOME don't want trades. They want to be the ones on the aggressive, just going in and taking kills.
Yeah, we talk about how support Mirana is going to phase out really fast in this game, faster than ever. The Viper as well. Viper's not a hero that wants to play from behind. He needs to have that fast mech, and so far he's got a headdress and a ring of protection. I don't even know what the ring of protection is going to be. Is he going to get a Bassi, or is he going to buy Tranquil boots?
No, it's going to be Ring of Aquila, surely.
Yeah, surely. So he's gonna slow down his mech a bit.
Oh, they've got the disruption and arrow. Okay, well timed there onto Super. RTK changes targets back onto the Chen as the Juggernaut will swipe down Super Sniper. Fenrir bringing his creeps back in. What's he got? Dark Troll and Centaur. Not fast enough. In fact, did he have any creeps? Yeah. Yeah, a little bit slow. Trying to juke the Omni Slash, so it was a good idea, just the timing wasn't there.
And that's good for EHOME because this is what they need, and if they could get this tower, it'll be even better because that's what they want to be able to get a bunch of kills, get some objectives, start their sort of mini death ball. Because it hasn't been working so far. They have been behind. The Mirana's just bought, I think, boots as their only item, and that's the thing about Mirana. The way it plays is kind of do nothing, do nothing, do nothing. Occasionally hit a big arrow and achieve something. But I don't know if that's gonna be enough here.
Well, they take the tier 1. Ice gets the arrow on his head, but RTK is sticking around. ZYF spins, but the right clicks and the dunk from Ice will take him out. RTK now stuck in the shrapnel, along with that battle hunger. Ice finds 2. The increased movement speed on FY maybe will allow him to chase in flame, but he
DDC is
steals the
gonna
Shadow
die
Strike.
Battle hunger as well.
Really?
Yeah.
The pool of blood indicates where Mirana's corpse lies, as Ice lands himself a triple kill.
The Mirana died to pretty much 1 hit, an assassinate, and a level 4 battle hunger. That's what killed her. So, yeah, it's a bit disappointing. One thing I want to point out there, Axe's ulti did a lot of work in a way that we hardly ever point out. The move speed. Because Axe and Sniper were both very deep, and when after Axe ultied someone, the Sniper managed to like gallop away really fast and still turn around and fight. And without that move speed boost, I think the Sniper goes down and maybe the fight ends up a bit differently because 2 more of the kills were on the back of the Sniper's contributions.
Poor old Mirana, 728 net worth. At least he's got brown boots and a TP and a clarity. He's got something. It was looking a lot rougher, you know, a couple of minutes ago. Down on bot lane, Super and Ice. One of them smoked up, one of them has a blink dagger, and one of them is baiting the crap out of this rune, I think. Well, they don't know that Fenrir is going to be the target here. How jumps himself away, and actually the illusions trapping Lanham in now. Yeah, they've got the concave. There's no way that you escape from this. So another kill attempt from EHOME just turned on his head.
If you think about the support Mirana, in previous meta games where it was successful, you were actually fine with your Mirana not getting farm or XP. She can walk around, get nothing, but as long as she's hitting important arrows, you make those kills, that's going to give you value overall in the game. But it just does, like, the game doesn't feel that way anymore. It doesn't feel like it's a good enough trade for your hero to, like, get no gold or XP and just occasionally hit an arrow for a kill. Those kills don't add up to enough.
Oh man. Inflame, yeah, Berserk's cool to start things off. They've got FY here as well, Telekinesis, to hold Inflame in place. No, didn't have the mana for it. Have the magic stick up. Sonic Wave will land on 2 as DDC has to throw something out. RTK finds the counter kill and takes the unstoppable streak of Axe.
Wow, Axe ultied Mirana and it looked like Mirana was on like half HP.
Super, oh there goes the Omni Slash. Ice does catch the Juggernaut now. What's stolen? Omni Slash is stolen, but Rubik has no mana and no damage to actually dish back out. And ZYF will just spin himself to victory here. It looks like Ice with his buyback might be regretting it right now. Buyback turns to dieback as EHOME get, what was that, 3 really big kills as FY finds mana for the Omni Slash, takes down the Juggernaut, shows him some of his own medicine, but RTK, a lot of gold for him. Top lane, Inflame, okay. Tier 1 tower goes down and How escapes, but that was a big fight. Like, I struggle to call it a fight. That was just sort of a string of engagements of a couple of heroes saying hello to each other over and over again. But for EHOME, that was huge.
Yeah, and Axe is actually the richest person on VG Gaming at the moment. So the fact that he has to buy back and die again gave them a lot of value. I like the little rotation from FY around past the secret shop to pick up his arcane boots, get the mana and Omni Slash. That was kind of cute. But sure, that was a good engagement for EHOME. It ended up going well for them. But we've said so many times, it's just EHOME need to be doing better early on. And just the mere fact that we're getting to this position and this stage in the game and EHOME aren't dominating is a problem for them. Sure, they can take these fights, but quite soon, 1 or 2 more items on How, they're not going to be able to even handle the Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, they still have to contend with Blink Axe. The Moonlight Shadow is used, just trying to get themselves into a better position. FY might get caught out here, but look at these little skeletons, making sure that there's no opening for a random arrow. Oh, Trolls blocking it off. Super, not going to get hit by that arrow as Ice goes for the healing ward. Super spun down as Inflame is lifted up into the air, and ZYF finds himself a kill onto Super Sniper.
Yeah, in the meantime, Hal's pushing the tier 1 in the mid lane. And Shadow Demon TP's in to try to stop him. Oh, here's the second TP. Maybe Hal... I wonder, could they catch Hal? He's still got the doppelganger.
They've got disruption, but where's the follow-up? Arrow will not land. Hal gonna try and doppelganger over the cliff. Let's see what his luck is like. Okay, he goes up onto that cliff and TP's out. Well played. So if he gets
Yeah,
caught
so
by that
again-
Juggernaut, oh, in flame. Queen of Pain. Caught in the Berserker's Call once again. And yeah, now Ice starts to level up this Berserker's Call, like decreasing the cooldown. Things are going to get rough.
Yeah, and Ice building towards that Blade Mail as well. Gonna be a pretty significant pickup when he gets to it. But ROTK has managed to finish his mech after what was a pretty rough start for him. But I think it was on the back of being involved in a bunch of kills, in a bunch of fights. And I still think that's got to be EHOME's plan, to make pickoffs and get objectives. But I just don't know. I feel like VG Gaming are too much in the game at this point for EHOME's plan to really make sense anymore.
Yeah, when we were looking at this draft, we were thinking, okay, EHOME, they're going for lane domination, they're going for kills, they want that early lead. They have never had a lead in this game. VG have been ahead the entirety of the game. And now with that last fight, the kill on Queen of Pain, they've actually taken, add to that all of the tier 1 towers that Hao has been taking down. They now have, what, about a 3,000 net worth lead over EHOME. It may not seem big 15 minutes in, but how does EHOME overcome that? How do they bring themselves back in?
Yeah, EHOME are the ones who want to have sort of a 5,000 lead at this point, not be a couple of thousand behind. They're going to try and get some objectives, but the problem is that they're not going to get any for free. If they want to take that tier 1 top, they're going to lose their tier 2 mid.
Hao on the front lines with his Vlads and Treads. Ice blinks into ROTK, and this is going to be a quick and easy kill, surely. Assassinate not even needed as Ice on the axe slams ROTK into the ground with the Culling Blade. ZYF, the headshot proc, meaning he can't actually close the gap or get into a target there. Oh, the two-man call. Ice catches both of them. Double dunk. Yes, he will. Thank you, sir. Good day. Sonic Wave across 3. Plenty of damage as Ice will probably fall. No. Hand of God keeping him alive. And
Yeah,
I don't know. This
like
just
that.
looks like it's it for EHOME.
Ice with all these calls, man. The first game he got a big call on 2 before he even had a blink tagger just by walking into them, and this game he's had great calls with his blink tagger. And you know what? This is a guy who loved playing Axe before anyone did, before it was even a thing. And I think it's only appropriate that he dominates so much when he plays Axe, now that Axe is a big part of the meta game.
Yeah, back when he was streaming quite a lot, used to see him, play Meepo and Axe and things like that. Just these more uncommon, unconventional heroes that you just wouldn't see in the competitive scene at all, really. It's always refreshing.
It's funny, for people who've only started watching Dota in the last year or two, maybe, it would probably be a shock to you to actually hear this, but there was a stage where people the stream would be begging Ice to play Axe because of how exotic and different it was. And these days it's sort of Axe here, Axe there, Axe every game, but that's how the times change. I mean, it really was. People would get super excited to see an Axe, and it was normally Ice who would play it in competitive Dota.
Oh man. Ice with a haste. Where does he go? No! Go into the enemy jungle. Come on. Go and find someone to kill. RTK with a mech and brown boots. No progression really from him. In Flames struggling to find that orchid. And it comes down to this point where you've got DDC on the Mirana and Lanham on the Shadow Demon, these two supports that haven't really found too much. RTK on a hero who requires that one big initial item, then to go and snowball and mount the pressure on towers, which they're going to try and do now on bot, but they haven't succeeded so far. Then Inflame requires one big item himself, needs an orchid or an axe, something to get the snowball going. And 17 minutes in isn't when you want to start snowballing. That's when you want to start saying, okay, how do we close out the game? What's our win condition here? Is it take a team fight outside of their base? Is it go and take Roshan? And at this point, the win condition is don't die. Try and get as much farm as you can while VG, I don't know, massacre your base? How much do you give up as EHOME here to try and come back?
I don't know. I mean, it's so hard for EHOME right now. They need lots of big pickoffs. And my concern is just, at this point, the Phantom Lancer might be too much for them on its own. As soon as he gets Stiff Blade, which is probably his next item, there's no fight that Phantom Lancer's in that his team loses unless the Queen of Pain uses all her spells on him. Because once you've got a bunch of images up, nothing else in the EHOME side can actually deal with them. And once he's got a Diffusal Blade, he's going to kill everyone so quickly.
Yeah, so I was looking at this and thinking, okay, maybe Viper and Queen of Pain, the Juggernaut as well, gets a little bit of farm. They can farm their jungle and try and build up some items, but how is taking their Ancients? VG are going to be in their jungle right now. They have nowhere to go. They're being choked in.
And that's a Blink Dagger on F-Wise Rubik now as well, and he's got the level 2 Viper Strike, so a lot of plays he could make here. Also, if he manages to steal Omni Slash again, that would be great. And looks like VG Gaming gonna take Roshan. It's gonna be yet another thing too.
Oh, wait, what? Okay, ZYF finds the Rubik. I was watching the Moonlight Shadow come in. Nearly gets dunked, but a good mech timing there from RTK. Sonic Wave across 4. This might be the comeback they were looking for, as Inflame with a big old spells, taking down a bunch of VG heroes. Ice caught in the midst of 4. And they will finish him off as the Alpha Wolf tries to 1 versus 1 in the Roche pit.
It's a very big fight for EHOME, but two things. Firstly, they can't take the Roche now. And secondly, they didn't kill the Phantom Lancer. And I want to say those are the two key things there. I mean, again, it almost feels like every time I'm making excuses, like, yeah, EHOME got a great fight, they did. We can't deny it. It's more just that I feel like they need many fights like that, especially if they're not killing PL, especially if they're not getting an objective with it. Then they need a bunch of them. One's just not enough.
Yeah, there's still a tier 1 tower standing up on top lane. For those of you watching in-game, I'll switch it to and from interactive mode again. I'm still not sure why it does that. I took a look at Ice when he got sent back to base, and I went into that, you know, the interactive mode or showcase mode, whatever it's called. And for some reason in Dota TV, if people are watching from my perspective, it gets stuck in that for the remainder of the game. Unless I, you know, sort of flick back and forth between it. Now, Roshan attempted once again from VG. And contest-wise, EHOME are not in a position to do this.
I don't think EHOME even came to contest Rush last time, or maybe they came to scout it, but they didn't have vision of it. And the Juggernaut just somehow ran straight into the Rubik and killed him, and then everyone came out to fight, but this will be an Aegis on a PL that was already near impossible for him to deal with, and he's going to have his Diff Blade really soon. In the next fight that the PL is involved in, I think it's just gonna rampage through everything. Well, if it gets the chance, if the Axe doesn't do that first, or the Sniper doesn't do that first.
Well, they finally get the tier 1 tower up on top. ZYF with his Yasha Mask of Madness. Next, I'd like you just finish off Sandra Yasha now. Do you consider going something like a BKB? Because it's at the point where VG are knocking on the door of your base. They're going to be taking tier 3 very shortly. What are buybacks like? We actually have no buybacks outside of the Juggernaut on the Radiant. Do you just save the buyback as Jug? No. He buys us himself an Ultimate Orb. Can't finish off the Manta style. And it's time to get to that tier 3 to try and defend.
I wonder if they want to fight now, because Inflame's got a double damage rune for a few more seconds. He's also just bought his Orchid. But I guess just being conservative because they're against that Aegis. And again, I mean, okay, we're there now. What does Miranda do in the game right now? Sometimes hits an arrow, and if they don't have true sights, I guess her ulti matters. But I think her main contribution right now is a mobile gem. She's going to walk around in clear vision.
Not really where you want to be as a hero. You know, you could pick Zeus and do that without buying a gem and still offer a lot of magic damage.
Compare the contribution she has right now to every other support in this game. It's so minuscule, I think. It's massive when she hits the big arrow, or if the ulti goes off and they're not detected, but those things shouldn't be happening that often. And I just feel like that puts EHOME at a disadvantage. It's why they wanted to sort of close out the game earlier, why they wanted to take objectives and snowball early on, because the later the game goes, the more it feels like it's kind of a 4v5. And this I'm talking about even when there's a Chen on the other team, and often people think Chen doesn't actually scale that well, but compared to the support Mirana, it gets a whole lot more farm naturally. It gets a bunch of creeps to help you push. It's got multiple things that it does every fight which are relevant, sending people back, healing them 2 different ways, and actually naturally countering the one thing that Mirana could do with those arrows.
Yeah, plus you get the auras from the creeps, you know. Helping you push up onto high ground. Agnums is not too far away. In fact, no. I thought maybe he had some more in the courier. But he's only got that point booster. Super with the Mask of Madness and Yasha. His item progression hasn't been that great either. He's had a pretty rough game on this Sniper where he's been caught up in arrows, disruptions, jumped on by the Juggernaut Omnislash.
Well, he built a glass cannon build against a strategy that's trying to make kills. So that was always going to be a risk. But again, I just don't think it matters. The PL is the one they need to deal with, and the one they can't deal with.
They'll hit FY. The TP coming in from the Viper. RTK jumps into the middle of 5. He's got no buyback, and that is, I don't know, a really, really bad decision. Inflame will land the Sonic Wave onto Hal, but he just jumps himself away with Doppelganger, and I've got a feeling GG is going to be called shortly. They'll go for an Omnislash. They'll go for one more play But there's very... well, actually, let's look. RTK, when is buyback coming back up? 80 gold? 85 gold? You just don't have the time.
EHOME just can't handle this peel. There's nothing they can do. Even if he didn't have Aegis, it's very hard. But with the Aegis, what can they conceivably do to contain the Phantom Lancer?
Oh, they're losing another lane of Rax as How takes that down. Bot lane is the last one surviving as the Orchid goes on to the PL. But it's more of a zoning thing than actually they could go for a kill there. DDC throws an arrow across the cliff but won't catch anybody.
Yeah, and this is... You know what, this is something that I've seen recently a few times in the Chinese scene. Remember yesterday when we watched Newbie versus IG? Newbie won the first game. The second game, Newbie went for all-in death ball strategy and lost in 15 minutes. And this is a similar feeling to it, where the one team that goes for the all-in, we do things early, we gather momentum, we death ball you early. If that team doesn't get off to the start they want, they actually usually lose the game quite fast. And I think that's what's happening to EHOME here. Like, they've got a bunch of kills, but their strategy doesn't work that way. Their strategy works on not just getting kills, getting much more kills than the enemy. Not just getting objectives, getting them early and getting them, you know, at the right timing before the enemy team gets your objectives. They need to be ahead, not behind. Basically that simple.
Ice just turns on his blade mail casually there. Super with his Mask of Manners, the speedy little bugger running around. This Axe, 12, 4, and 7, he has done a lot this game. You know, you look at the next highest kill score, that's 7-3 on the Juggernaut, 6-4 on the Chen actually. With the rotations that Fenrir has made, he's managed to pick up quite a few kills.
Yeah, that clutch haste rune, diving tower, and smoking to dodge the projectile at the end.
Well, even just before that, he TP'd and got the kill on the Shadow Demon when they were diving the sniper. So
yeah,
he's always been in, like, even without creeps, he's been in the right place at the right time, just to throw out nukes and turn things back around.
And now Hal's got a DD rune, I guess it's gonna run out soon, but his Aegis ran out, but he got a Manta instead. And it's gonna do just about the same amount of work. I just don't see it. I mean, maybe in the old Phantom Lancer, Shadow Demon banishes him, and that's a pretty big counter. This Phantom Lancer, the images aren't actually doing that much work. They're just distracting you.
Last chance saloon here for EHOME as they're going to defend their bot tier 3. RTK on the front lines will take a lance to the face and get his mana burnt as well. That arrow, okay. The Dark Troll gets hit by the arrow. Super not going to get that landing on him. These tornadoes though. Well, yeah, there's two tornadoes. Two Dark Trolls and two Wild Wings. Ice jumps in. He finds them inside the invis and will catch RTK and ZYF. Assassinate drops into about half HP, but good disruption to keep the Viper alive for now. Sonic Wave and Omni Slash take down the Chen in the middle of the fight, but his job was done. Well, he did have Mech and Hand of God remaining. How now, though, cleaning up. ZYF going to be the second to fall as Queen of Pain and Viper both buy back into this.
Yeah, that's what I think the initiation from Ice is about. It's like, it doesn't matter how we initiate. They have to deal with peel, they can't deal with peel.
Well, How is taking a large amount of his HP taken off him. Ice jumps in again. ZYF caught in the Berserker's Call as RTK and Inflame trying to battle up against PL. They just can't get that finishing blow. They can do damage over time, they can take him low, but they just can't actually kill him.
Yeah, and this is with how many buybacks? Was that 3 or 4 buybacks?
Three.
See,
Jug, Viper, and Quap.
so all of the cores bought back, and they still couldn't kill the Phantom Lancer. And maybe Vici Gaming will be forced to retreat for a moment, but Ice doesn't want to.
Well, Super's going to get got on here with a few more right clicks. He'll get taken down. Ice, like you said, does not want to give himself up. But in the end, doesn't even matter. EHOME with the buybacks take the fight as How has returned.
Yeah, Chen sent him to base, he healed up, he bought travels, came back in and said, you guys can't deal with me. You couldn't deal with me with 8 heroes, you're not going to deal with me with 4 heroes.
And GG is called, so VG taking the series 2-0 in this best of 3. And they'll be advancing themselves to the next stage. Well, that'll be the semi-finals. No? Wait, there are 4 teams.
It's a double elim though, isn't it? I think.
I'm not too sure. I need to find this out. I need to double check. But that's it for this series. Next up we have IG against LGD. But we do see VG heading themselves next to the through to the next stage. Now, what do you think about IG against LGD? Because both teams have had their ups and downs. They've been performing against certain teams, but they've had a few missteps here and there. Like IG the other day. Who did they go 1-1 against?
Against Newbie yesterday.
Yes.
Well, LGD and IG both went 1-1 against Newbie yesterday.
That's very true. Newbie managed to pick up a game against both of them, but I think that was a lot to do with Newbie actually improving a lot over the past couple of days. LG IG actually went 1-1 2 days ago. We'll be back in a short while to see how that series goes, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for IG against LGD.